Well, we're off to a swimming start. I have like unstable internet connection. Oh, you know what I should do? I should turn off my VPN. That'll probably make things kind of wonky, but
Yeah, I can't see
bear.
you. I can't see your camera. It's supposed to be on. Hello? Hello, hello.
There we go.
Okay.
Hopefully, it's better.
But it's all black. All I see is black.
Give it a second.
Okay.
Hopefully, better. Hopefully, better.
I mean, I see nothing. I see like all black.
Do you see
Oh
nothing?
no.
You see all
Oh,
black.
I see your screen.
Do you see us
But
now?
no, I only see myself.
You don't see me?
No, I'll send you a screenshot.
Cool. Let me add myself.
Yeah, I mean, unless I don't think it's. It could. No, that would shouldn't be something on my end because it's. Let's see. Just give me a second. Yeah, here. It's,
Oh yeah, I'm all black. That's fine. It's all right if you can't see me.
all right, fine.
Let me see. Let me stop my cam. Start my cam. Better? Or
Nope.
nope. All right. Well, or whatever.
Okay.
That's fine. We'll see your pretty face.
Yeah, sure.
Welcome to Beat the Banks from Beacon DeFi. I should look on my. Let me look on my phone. That'll probably be the way to at least figure it out. Um, oh yeah, I'm totally still black. What is going on here? How funny.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
on.
not funny, of course.
Yeah. Well, fade to black.
Hmm.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. That's all that needed to happen. All right, let's start this off the correct way then. Welcome to Beat the Banks, ladies and gentlemen. This is the weekly community training that we have that happens every Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. You're not seeing things. I'm actually joined today by Robert, who is on with us on our regular Wednesday Total Value Locked podcast. Welcome, Robert from Talisman. How are you, sir?
Good, sir. How are you? Glad to
Doing
be here.
well. Thank you so much. If you have never been with us before, feel free to join our free group, Total Value Locked, at school.com/beacon. It's across the bottom. Join the hundreds, thousands who have come to our community to understand how to make the most out of really just finding the right types of investments using digital assets in the world of decentralized finance and blockchain investing. So, uh, today we decided to kind of join forces a little bit, talk about some different concepts, like talk about projects we're excited about and just kind of get really just into mindset. So what we're going to talk about today is a little bit about mindset. We'll also talk about some projects we're really excited about. I'll try my best to get them on the screen as we talk about them. Uh, but yeah, ultimately, if you are a new user in this space, the key is to have, and you can totally see my drink here. Let me move that. I was using it as an armrest. You need to have the right mindset with regards to ultimately being successful in this space. I think it's very easy when you first come in. Let's say that you came in because you are following a trend. Let's say you bought the Trump meme coin. You heard about something like Pudgy Penguins, which is available at brick and mortar Walmart stores and Target. They're easily the most recognizable NFT brand out there to most people, right? If you're an OG in this space, you know about CryptoPunks, you know about even something like Milady or Azuki Doodles, some of these others. But Pudgy Penguins has really, I think, cemented themselves at the top of the NFT leaderboard with regards to brand awareness. So um, there's more to this industry than things like that. A lot of people in this space are very excited about the ability to invest in stable coins, having a digital version of a coin that is worth $1 and being in a situation where your dollar coin, your stable coin will not be losing value year over year due to inflation wherever you live in the world. In fact, with our mastermind, that was probably one of the biggest arguments that I got from people specifically in Latin America, in Asia, in Africa, in Europe, where they were in a situation where their regular fiat currency was actively devaluing due to inflationary events. So being in this space, not just holding digital assets, but being able to have those assets work for you. I think that's the one thing that separates us specifically from trading groups, and there's plenty of those. But in a DeFi group, you'll do more than just. I mean, we have many people in our group who trade. I personally don't trade, but I do things that are related to trading. But you can do both. You can trade as well as earn yields and fees, profiting off both the market and other investors. I just said investors. And that's really the key about understanding your mindset, right? Before we get started, Robert, I'm going to go ahead and just grab this screen real quick. This is actually from a uh, a presentation I gave back at ETH Denver 2024, so roughly about a year ago, about creating a bull market mindset, right? So the keys to success in this bull market, and people are calling for a bear and all that type of stuff. I don't think we're anywhere near there yet. Uh, but essentially, regardless of what type of market you're in, you want to have a good mindset. Um, Keys to success is understanding the different seasons of allocation phases, discovering your focus, forming a tribe of fellow bulls to work with, becoming the ruler of your focus. Don't really know what I meant when I wrote this, but whatever. Make an action plan to keep the ideas at the forefront and keep control of your allocation. So essentially, it's plan, focus, execute, is basically what it is. It's easy to just kind of just pick and choose or follow or copy trade somebody, but having the ability to have a system to essentially have a method to your madness, I think is key. One thing that we talk about in our groups, whether you're in our mastermind, in our accelerator, or even our free group on Total Value Locked, we push the need to have a system. Why? Because it makes being in this space easier. If you have a system on how you believe your plan, your investment plan should work, then it's going to make your experience here that much better. It's going to extend the longevity of how long you'll be uh, in this space by orders of magnitude, other than people that just throw it all in on whatever, and once they get rocked, they crash out and they leave. They never come back. They're like, oh, it's just a casino. You didn't play it right if that's really your real thought about it. This is a real place where we're going to be having huge winners, especially because if bull markets make you rich, bear markets make you wealthy. We're not a bear market, but that's how a lot of us felt accumulating BTC and ETH 18 months ago, right? So, Robert, I'll go ahead and ask you specifically, what are your basic mindset principles when it comes to investing in crypto assets and digital assets?
Yeah, well, put simply, um, I mean, a lot of it just comes from being in the space for so long and being exposed to these cycles and to the nature of different projects. Being able to kind of instinctively know like which projects are legit and which ones aren't, et cetera, et cetera. And so having that experience and some of that knowledge, at least what I think I have, right? Um, I apply that in the sense that I try to keep my portfolio relatively focused, right? And so when you see, um, for example, in this recent cycle, when you see like institutions front running Bitcoin through the ETFs, and then you see um, you know meme coins and maybe some AI agent coins taking off late last year, and all of the altcoin market being totally depressed or continuing to tank, right? And then this is just an example to illustrate my mindset.
Mhm.
Um, I look at that and I think, there's a ton of money flooding into this industry. There's been clear accumulation happening with different projects for years now. There's week after week. There's regulatory barriers being broken down, um, and there's a clear runway to success here. And so generally my mindset is just to find projects that I believe are in potentially exciting or healthy sectors that will have a very compelling narrative. They're building for real. They have a solid team or a very high quality team, um, and then just doing my own accumulation, uh, you know, in preparation for what might come. Um, I think it's really that simple. It's just identifying quality projects, accumulating at the right time, having conviction, and just having a lot of patience.
Yeah, completely agree. Thank you very much for that. Um, I am very much in the same vein. It's all about having a good plan, understanding the focus of what narratives or specifically what projects you're looking for, and being, I don't want to use the word stingy, but you want to have a good handle of where all your money is going, right? Uh, in our group, we really push things like dashboards. We push things like spreadsheets. You have to understand and know specifically where every penny of what you're investing is and where it's going and what you should be getting week after week. The math should be mathing, as we normally say. I did want to pull up, some more things from these slides, if you don't mind. We'll continue with some conversation back and forth as we talk about them because frankly, these are very basic things that people should be thinking about. I know a lot of people in this space that they're like, oh, I don't have a hardware wallet, or I really I don't have a thought about things like that. I know people I just saw the other day someone who's a fairly prominent KOL or a key opinion leader supposedly said, this is why I put 50% of my funds in a CEX. And I was like, my friend, no, first of all, because in the reason why we call this training Beat the Banks, and why it came from our old free group called Beat the Banks, is in Web3, this is a journey of self-custody, right? You are your own bank. For all these people who are debanked, you're in a situation where you get to control where your money is going. You get to control where you put it to earn yield. You get to control, you know, even from a security standpoint, who can and can't access your funds. That's the beauty of being your own bank. That's the beauty of self-custody. Even though we recommend Coinbase as our top tier CEX, there's a chance that something could happen. Coinbase has an algorithmic based support, well, I won't say support system, but your account can get flagged if they think that you are doing something specific. And you don't want to be in that boat because your funds are locked, you have no access to them. Even better example, I like using their Coinbase debit card. It's right here. I have it on my phone. Oftentimes, if I go out to eat, if I go out to grocery shop, and I don't want to use my funds in my bank, I can actually send USDC up to my Coinbase account, and it'll use it as a bit of a savings account. It earns 4% while it sits there, and as I can use it to spend the money. Now I don't put a ton of money in there. I only put however much I need for. Let's say I just wanted to go out and, like, for example, I will expose myself a bit. I have a fondness for gas station food. Fountain sodas, buffalo chicken bites, hot dogs, you name it. I like that. um yeah, so you're in a situation where that can be a problem. Now there are newer things out there, like MetaMask has a card. Avalanche has a card. Cipher, another company that has a card. There are multiple cards that are out there that you can use for stuff like that, right? Uh, but that's the flexibility that I love to see. I had a reason for talking about this. All
And it's
right.
because of Coinbase and their like them randomly shutting people off sometimes.
Yes. It was leading to this part. I've been a Coinbase user since like 2011. I've been on Coinbase a very long time. Even
Same.
me, who has been there forever. I wanted to top off. Um, I wanted to top off my USDC just to go spend, right? Because ultimately, people if people know my favorite club is Costco, the wholesale club. So if I go clubbing, it's going to Costco, and Costco does not support my bank in terms of debit cards because I just bank somewhere that's not Visa or Mastercard with my debit card. So I had been using, a specific credit card that's theirs to pay for goods, but just if I wanted to pay with regular payments, I can use my Coinbase card, which is great. So I decided to just buy some USDC to then have there available. I bought the USDC at Coinbase, right? The funds were locked for 5 days, even though I have been there since Kingdom Come and I use it all the time. I understand if there are newer people who come on, they first get on and then they hold their funds for it to clear because they're newer customers or they're bringing in $50,000. I mean, I sent 225 to have a little budget to use at Costco because if you have a family and you can get out of Costco without spending more than $200, I kudos to you. That is not me. So, yes, I bought the USDC, sent it over, went to Costco, went to go pay, and it was like declined. I'm like, that's weird. So I was like, oh, it must be a glitch in the system, you know? And I was just like, and it was that, mind you, this was 12 hours later. And I sat there and I was just like, well, this is bullshit. The fact that I'm a longtime customer and I use it all the time. But I can send crypto from blockchains up to Coinbase and oops, sorry. And it's ready immediately. What is up with that? I mean, it's just like it's one of these weird things. It's just like, why it's so much better to be your own bank than having to actually use a bank. That
That
and
happens to me
really
like
my go ahead.
no, it's happened to me like multiple times. I've been traveling or because Coinbase is like my primary card,
Yeah,
or it has been, and it's like and it's the only way for me to get cash. And then I live in Mexico, which makes it even more important to get cash out sometimes.
right.
And yeah, it left me in some pretty tough spots, to be honest. Yeah.
Exactly. So in the event that you're in that position, you might be in a situation where you can't actually access your funds. With that said, there's some newer things out there. Coinbase specifically is offering U.S. virtual checking accounts through a protocol on base layer 2 called Moonwell. Um,
I just got a MetaMask card, by the way.
oh, you just got them. Yeah, I have one. I don't think I've ordered the card. I have the virtual version. I have Cipher. I have Cipher, MetaMask, Coinbase, and I want to say a Solana based one, but I actually haven't ordered the physical card because honestly, I normally pay with my phone if I can. I just like the tap to pay version because, skimmers, that kind of crap. Whereas if you use the tap to pay, it's always a virtual number, and you never have to worry about that. To answer Greg's question, I think I just literally just asked for the card.
I think within your account you can just sign up for it pretty easily.
Yeah, like if you go on the mobile version of the app, you can literally just go to card and order a card. So, but yeah, there's a virtual version you can use. Obviously, it's better to have the digital one, but anyway, we kind of went off the rails. But
No, but yeah, I mean, regarding like the MetaMask card, for example, I mean, do you think that I mean, you can get the physical version, which would be nice for me. It'd be nice to have here.
It's a nice
But
to have.
yeah, but I mean, do you think that they also through whatever I don't understand how their banking or whether how their debit service works exactly. So could they also kind of erroneously or just kind of randomly block the card sometimes? You think?
They could. I've seen it happen on Cypher as well,
Mhm,
from a friend of mine that they just started charging him. I was just like, what's going on here?
mhm.
Uh, things happen. It's kind of weird how they can just still be hijacked, and it's kind of like the nature of regular Rails. Um,
Yeah.
but MetaMask is working through a Web 2 provider. I can't think of the name right now, but they, I believe, use Swiss banks to
The
set that up,
CL cards.
something like that. Yeah,
So I mean, in that case, you still have to deal with their customer service if your card gets like flagged somehow.
exactly. So that's the reason why I don't particularly care for that. I mean, what's interesting too is these cards, they're considered prepaid cards. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I
So
definitely
if,
knew that.
yeah, so it's essentially if you're in a situation where you're trying to pay for something and they're like, oh, we can't accept that because it's a prepaid card. And I'm like, it's treated like those little like if you go to like the store and they have those little reloadable top up cards. That's exactly how this is treated, and they're not always accepted in places. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. But one
Mhm.
day, one day the whole system will be different, and,
Yeah.
and DeFi will be the future. But yeah, let's get let's get back to the topic on mindset. But yeah, no, that was a nice little tangent, honestly, about just being able to have the freedom when you're your own bank to offload the funds any way that you like. Whereas with a bank, you're at the mercy of and the reason I made all that up is because it's instant, right? Instead of having to wait 3 days, like for me to send money from my bank account to my credit union account, 3 days. And I'm like, why is it 3 days? What is the purpose of time gating that for any reason? You know? So I'm just like, it's unreal. Where you can send somebody something and you can send somebody money on crypto rails and it's there literally within seconds. Now back in the day, sometimes sending money from Coinbase or sending something to Solana was like a wing and a prayer. But even then, that is now, instant within like literally 2 minutes. So that's kind of that's the amazing part of the world we live in now. We have this technology where even back then you had to worry about the fact that the money you were sending was not your normal fiat currency, right? If I wanted to send money from myself to you and you were in Mexico and we went through payment rails, we'd have to do something like Litecoin or Bitcoin or something like Stellar Lumens or something like that, right? And it didn't matter. We just had to have the liquidity available on either end for me to um, deposit the liquidity, and then someone would be the intermediary, the market maker, who is able to take that money and send it to you. That's kind of how peer to peer still works now, and so it's great that we have these options. But yeah, so back to mindset. Now that we have like you're your own bank, you're having instant transfers with no worries about waiting days for those transfers to go through. Um,
And once you experience that, you never want to go back.
exactly. And that's the biggest thing. It's painful. It was actually painful for me to have to sit there and realize that I was going to have to wait 3 to 5 days for money on a platform that I've used for more than at this point almost 15 years, right? I mean, that's some really interesting, egregious red tape for something like that. Obviously, I've been on the platform for so long. There's no way you can think that I'm a risk. And so, well, I mean, I can't say that. Obviously, it is what it is. It's their. My point is, it's their platform. They can make the rules, and that's why we say your keys, your crypto. When you put money on a CEX, you are not in that realm. It is not your. It is not your crypto. It is not your keys, not your crypto. If they wanted to lock up your funds, make you wait 5 days to even touch them, they can because it's their platform. So that's why the key of being able to do that without doing that is key. So back to mindset. I mentioned plan because plan is the biggest thing that you can do because there's so many people in this space that don't have one. It's like if it's zero or hero, moon or goon, right? It's a lot of times it's just a little scary. You got to have a plan, guys. You need to have allocations. You need to be tracking your allocations, put them in buckets like we do here. And if you're interested in that, join our free group. We have all that information available to you in our introduction to DeFi module, entrance and exit strategies, and mindset cues. The one thing I want you guys to know is you don't want to farm emotionally. You don't want to farm on what's called FOMO, FOMO, the fear of missing out. You got to be rooted in your fundamental first principles, meaning you have to have a very strong hold on what your risk tolerance is, as well as what's the most conviction that you have in what you're holding. These are very important things that, as simple as they sound, form the foundation, the fundamentals of what you're going to need to know to be successful here. Because you should be treating it that way. If you think of it like a video game, you're already losing, right? You got to have strong fundamentals, strong first principles, and move with precision, not precision, move with conviction. Listen, and without emotion.
Don't chase,
Uh,
attract.
exactly, exactly. And I will say, the bull market is different than the bear market. So, it's good to have a mindset for both. Obviously, in the bear market, much more conservative. You're worried about everything heading down to zero. Your goal is to accumulate, because we will go back up at some point. The tech is too good, and everything that's happening is too bullish. And I do think that the 4-year cycle is over. What do you think? Do you think the 4-year cycle is over, Robert?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah,
I think it was pretty. Well, side note, I think it was pretty nebulous from the beginning. I mean, if you think about the altcoin run from 2017, right?
yeah,
The next one started 3 years later,
that's true.
and now this
That's
one
true.
is probably starting 5 years later. So it's kind of
Oh, it could be sooner than that.
yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't.
the last one really started like August of 2020, right? So let's say,
Yeah,
I mean, we're getting close to 5 years, but
yeah.
it's always been kind of approximate, anyways, right? And anyways, it's like yeah. I just want to say as we get closer to mass adoption, yeah, that 4 year cycle will definitely break.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, one thing I'd recommend, and this is something we talk about specifically with our community, it is very difficult to be successful in this space by yourself. If that was the case, we'd never look at reviews when we buy stuff on Amazon, book hotels, buy cars, buy anything, right? We're always looking for something to help validate what we're doing as people, whether that be purchasing, selling. It's like it's just something that we do. We're just looking for validation. So find a community, find people that can help you find good answers to keep you accountable. Oftentimes, if you know that you want to do research, you don't have the time, find someone else who can do it with you. Split that time, and focus on being an expert in a certain set of concepts in whatever you're researching. Ultimately, be honest in what you can do alone. I get it if you don't have time to really be in this space. You've got a full time job, you're in a 9 to 5, you can't afford to do this full time. We are blessed to be able to do that based on our hard work. Uh, it's hard, and you definitely can't know everything that you need to know, or oftentimes just to help you come up with the right decision alone. So look for other people to help you out. That's why community in this space is so important. Doesn't matter if you join ours or somebody else's. Prefer you join ours because we work really hard and I think we're the best. But overall, if you have a project that you're really passionate about, join their community. You'll find multiple like-minded investors who are in the same space that you are in, and it's important to build connections as well as, frankly, friendships. People bond over this stuff. I mean, I never thought I'd meet Robert,
Yeah,
but we've shared meals.
we have definitely,
We have. It's a
and
good
we'll
time.
probably share another one soon.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
This last part's interesting because, especially now that we're nearing mass adoption, something we say a lot is confusion equals money. The other part is behind me, which you can't see right now, says don't trust, verify. A lot of people will look at this and they have an opinion. They're like, oh, this is funny money. They're not looking to really, figure it out. They're not going to be the ones making money. People are willing to see through the confusion, see the potential, and are willing to put in the work to just check it out. And all you have to do is check it out. Most people who join our group, they're like, man, this is so amazing. I just had to get past the part of just the doubt. Once you do and you see it, you're like, oh yeah, I totally see the potential here. Simple as that. And to echo Greg's statement, yes, it's okay to join multiple communities. I can tell you that because I am pushing my 200 Discord limit every week on that. Join multiple communities, but it's all about what you can handle. Obviously, you have responsibilities away from what you're doing here. Make sure that you handle those because really, and I talk about this all the time. And Robert, let me know if you agree with this. The biggest investment that you can make on this journey is in you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And not to get too
Yeah,
deep, but you
yeah,
can't execute if you're not at your best. So, and then we could go into a full tangent on what people in this space do to take care of themselves,
yeah,
uh, which is crazy. Not crazy. I'm not fading anybody's activities, but I will
yeah,
tell you that people with money, they love longevity. They're all about making sure they can do everything they can to live as long as possible, to enjoy that money as long as they can. So you will see all kinds of people here talking about, oh, this is my new immunity stack. I don't need a doctor. I just do medical tourism. I sleep, facing the Earth's magnetic core, that type of thing. You get, I've heard it all, guys. It is fascinating to see what people will do when they find success in this space. But
but
yeah,
also
have the
in terms
go
of
ahead.
like pushing yourself a little bit, like when it's like any challenge in life, when you uh, some people quit when things get too hard or too confusing, right? And so in this space, the key to being early, the real alpha, is getting past that initial phase of intimidation about the different concepts in crypto and DeFi and Web3,
Exactly.
and then once you just make that effort, again, just to do that 90% of just showing up, uh, I mean, you'll reap the benefits for sure, just like anything
Exactly.
else. Yeah,
And we talk about this all the time, right? We are early. I've been saying that since 2020. We are early. But there's a lot of different things now. We have an administration that is very much pro crypto. They have a lot of skin in the game, literally. They're in a lot of they're heavily staked in protocols they either built themselves or have stakes in large institutions here in this space. So ultimately they have a lot of skin in the game. So right now is a great time to be here. There's some really big narratives coming before the end of the year, and you want to be positioned early. You want to get to know the fundamentals because if you're here 6 months from now and there's a ton of people in this space, they're still going to be figuring it out. You're already going to know, and you'll be able to take advantage of opportunities and make that work for you. That's the key. I think one thing that people I don't see from a lot of people is that they're not calm. Uh, there is one thing that is going to doom you in this space, regardless of what happens to you, and that is panicking. Panicking leads to bad decisions. So the best way to stay calm is to be prepared and educated. And those are two things we talk about a lot in our communities. So be prepared, be educated, and frankly, have a healthy fear of fucking up. This is one that's interesting. I personally don't do much of it. I should do more of it. I do more voice notes, honestly. But journal your experience. That was something that was talked to me about by a really good friend of mine, who was not a DeFi native at first. She came from just looking at it from outside the fishbowl, and just gave the idea that you should journal your experience because it helps seeing where you've made good and bad decisions. The other thing is practicing. That's something that we've been really pushing on in this, with regards to our content now in Beacon, is the value of practice, because muscle memory is the best way to be successful, right? For the majority of, let's say professional athletes or professional anybody, a lot of what they do is mental. The fact that they can repeat it with high levels of success is the key to becoming proficient and being the best at what you can do. So practice. And when I say practice, I mean if you watch our if you watch our trainings, you'll see that I'm only doing a lot of positions with like $5, $10, $20. That should really tell you two things. One, anyone can really get into this because if you have $20, yeah, go ahead and put in a yield farm. You'll be surprised. You're not gonna earn tons of money, but you'll be surprised that maybe in a week you might earn like 20 cents. Who knows? If you're lucky, or if the market works in the right ways. But also, with regards to practice, it can be a very cheap exercise. You don't have to spend a ton of money. You don't have to go yeet $500 or something in the name of practice. No, just do it $5. The biggest part to understanding this is understanding fundamentally how protocols and concepts in this space work. There are a lot of picks and shovels in this space. The ability to be able to pick up any of them and work with them is key. And practice is the key to all of that. Any thoughts, Robert?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just getting familiar with the concepts and the mechanisms of different platforms. Luckily now, fees are so low on L2s that you can actually put in $20 or $5 and do DeFi. I think, yeah, maybe 4 years ago that was not necessarily so easy
Yeah.
because of fees, but
Mm-hmm.
now, I mean, it's completely scaled to the point where you can, and literally anybody can do it.
Yeah. I mean, we're in a situation when demand was breaking base blockchain end of 20, beginning of 2024. And I remember I was just rebalancing a position on base for concentrated liquidity. It was going to cost me like $14 on base, where normally it costs less than pennies. And I was like, what is going on here? So, um,
Yeah,
I mean, we're in a world where, this was pre Denkun. So this is pre EIP 84844. Now that there's blobs and now there's, the price of doing transactions in business is much cheaper and it's much easier to justify practicing with. Uh, yeah. And you don't have to do it on ETH mainnet, which is the best part.
there's a lot of options there.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, it's all about having the action plan. You're going to be overwhelmed by what you're seeing. I mean, I just have to tell you, there's 200 active blockchains, 200 plus active blockchains out there. Trying to find the right opportunity is going to be overwhelming, but that's why you don't do this alone. Do it with a community, find friends. Um, in a world where people have done this off and on for multiple years, I'm sure there are a lot of people who have been with us, in the past, are like, oh, it's really kind of the same, but they're also not sure how to move forward. Reach out, honestly. The game's changed a bit. It's a much different scene now than what it was 2 years ago. There's a lot of ways to earn money, a lot of ways to earn good money, good money in terms of yields. You don't have to sit there and hold and play and pull fibs and do stop losses and take profits. There's more to this than that. And that's where DeFi is going to come in really clutch, in my personal opinion, especially if you have if you want a diversified portfolio of passive income working for you. But let me just make sure there wasn't anything else that I wanted to. Yeah, we'll go through these principles. It's just 2 slides. Then we'll move on. Right now, and I, keep in mind, I presented this last February of 2024. A lot of the principles still line up. Those principles have been the same for the last 4 years. I don't think they go anywhere. I think they're good to really lay into. Like your goal is to still use altcoin. Well, right now the goal is to look for altcoins in the face of majors, right? You can still, the market being what it is, if you want to DCA or dollar cost average into Bitcoin and Ethereum, go ahead. But your better bets for asymmetric upside are in altcoins. Coins that are part of BlackRock's expansion. So like Arbitrum, AVAX, Aptos, Optimism, Arbitrum, Polygon, Solana, anything that's hitting a narrative. So Deepin, Solana is a great choice for that. AI agents. new blockchains that are taking up a lot of TVL and volume. Those are the ones that you should really consider. And there's a lot of projects too that have been long-standing that have top 10 protocols in DeFi, top 25. You should consider buying their token if they have one as a possible play for when the market really starts to take off. Now that the fuel is pretty much in there, security is a premium. That's the one thing that I have to always press, and that's the one thing that we talk about in our group all the time. We're all about making money, but you got to do it safely and securely. The easiest way to not to make money in crypto and DeFi is to not lose it. Simple as that. Because Bitcoin's going to go up. That's inevitable. But if you lose your Bitcoin because of bad security, it's not good, man. It's not good.
I wouldn't.
Keep good OPSEC, which is operator security. We've talked about that at length on multiple shows. You can go back and check those out. Be prepared to optimize your plan continuously because the market changes. Like, for example, we weren't expecting the Trump meme coin to come out and suck up liquidity from 17 gazillion different narratives and spit it back out really poorly. But this is the present situation we're in. You got to be able to fail forward. And what I mean by that is you're going to fail. Just don't fail badly. Fail forward and upward. Understand that a lot of what you're doing here, because this is still early, we're still in like the experimental phase. What could be DeFi today is not going to be DeFi in 12 months, 6 months, who knows? But be willing to be adaptable. If you fail, that's fine. Just be in a situation where you can fail forward and upward. And that comes with a good plan. That comes with allocations. That's not putting everything in one basket.
You got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet.
Exactly. Crypto investing is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Yes, you'll be able to make money quickly. But honestly, those 100Xs that people talk about all the time, they're few and far between. And oftentimes, history does not repeat itself, nor does it rhyme in a lot of cases. Because humans, am I right? Sometimes you just have to laugh at just like how badly people can fumble things. Human error is really rough. Projects that you thought were going to be amazing because of human error. Man, how many of those have we seen, Robert?
Countless, yeah.
Countless. Exactly. Countless. But having strong fundamentals, having a strong hold on what your plan needs to be, the right mindset, these are all things that you need to keep in mind, because we're longtime people in this space in terms of helping and educating people and understanding what people are doing in this space. I'm honestly a lot more degen than Robert. I've seen also a lot of things. So there are things that I know that could work and I'm hoping will work, but I'm not going to bank on it to work because human error. People mess things up all the time. And the number of people that I thought wouldn't mess up that have messed up is staggering. But you have to have strong fundamentals, strong first principles, and have a plan. That if you take anything away from this, seriously, just have a plan, have a system. Copy anybody's system you want, but just have a system. So you're not just throwing money everywhere. Have a real reason behind it. Have some conviction. That type of thing.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, one note I wanted to make was that you don't need to also be chasing everything. You need to just, like I was saying from the beginning, just first of all, don't rush into anything. Explore. Get feedback from your community. Find that community. Get their feedback. Get a read on things, right? And then within a certain sector, let's say you want to ape into some AI agent coins, for example. Just get a read on X from reliable sources from your community. Pick up a couple different projects. Don't chase everyone that's pumping. Pick up a couple ones that seem reliable and wait. If that's what you want to do, or whether it be RWAs or whatever. So yeah, don't chase these projects as they kind of run through their cycles. Just pick up a couple of reliable ones from each sector at the right time and just wait. And if it doesn't pan out, then That's why you diversify a little bit, and you're not just all in one sector.
Yep. One thing too, that I didn't talk about that we talk about a lot is have profit taking system. The number of projects that you think are going to come back after having a hot start. Done a lot of round tripping in our time
Yeah,
with regards to thinking something's going to come back. Or you make 300K, you're back down to 5K.
you
You
have
should
to
be
let
take what's that?
you have to ladder out. Absolutely.
Exactly. You have to ladder out. You have to take profits on the way up. Yes, it's always good to have a moon bag that goes to $1 million. Most of us will never do that though. You should be taking profits on the way up, putting them back out in the stables so you have more powder to take advantage of more opportunities. Frankly, there's going to be dozens of opportunities when we're in full swing weekly. You got to be able to have the powder to take advantage of all of them. So if you're just hoping and praying in a project, being FOMO and having emotional farming thoughts on it, don't, because there's no guarantee that it's going to be there in 6 months. Now, the ones that we do like, obviously, that's different. These long-standing Lindy institutions, they're the ones that you can rely on to have as a base camp. But on newer projects that are out there, it's hard to. Most of them are not going to make it. Let's be honest. You want to make sure that you get into an opportunity that you think is going to go well. Get the profit that you're looking for. Set targets. Have a system. Have a plan, as I've been talking about, and execute on the plan. If you don't execute on the plan, then why do you have a plan? Have a plan. Be a smart investor and not a gambler, because we don't raise gamblers in this community. We raise smart investors. So be a smart investor.
Yeah, as I was saying, like how lucky are we to be in an industry where 2x is very conservative. So like, I mean, we're typically right in a
Yeah.
strong altcoin cycle, like 5x's and 10x's are flying everywhere usually, right?
Yep.
If you're timing things correctly. And so I mean, like a conservative example of selling half at double just to retain your principal. I mean, that's a blessing, So so in this
Yeah.
when this thing's really taking off in crypto, it's just a matter of like not getting too greedy, right? And so
Exactly.
that's a really big thing. Just get the meat of the move. Don't don't try to moonshot everything.
I mean, one example I can give you that always keeps me grounded is my house. Somehow I got my house at a very good price, here in the Midwest. And actually, my house is fully 2x'd,
Yeah.
and me owning it for 11 years. So when people are talking about 100x's and stuff, I mean, think about it, real estate. How long is it going to take for you to get 100x on real estate? Probably will never happen. So you need to have the right mindset, the right expectation set, and take your profit when you can. To be frank, I'm actually looking to sell my house. um, because hey, it 2x. Yeah, let's go. No, that's not the reason why, but um, recognize those things and take advantage of them. It's always good to have, as we say, to a lot of people, never apologize for taking profit. Why? Because you may not always get the chance to. So just keep the mindset where you're always you're always taking profit, you're making smart decisions, you're doing things with good conviction, and you're looking for opportunities all the time. And that's the key. If you want to be successful in this space, having the right mindset from the jump on stuff like that is going to be key. So let's go and move on to projects that we're really excited about. And I will try and find all of these as you talk about them.
Sure.
So let's see how many we can find. Um, Tell me one that you're specifically excited about. We'll pull it up.
Um, let's see. So going through my portfolio now. Well, I think it'd be worth because this kind of really relates to um, finding opportunities and choosing the right ones too.
Mm,
Uh, I'm I know I'm biased because I used to work with them, but I'm pretty excited about Reserve's new DTF protocol. Like not the token. Well, yes, the token. It's the meme token itself is something I'm invested in.
mm,
Um, but the protocol itself, decentralized token folios, allows you to get exposure to different sectors in the industry without having to buy individual without having to bet on individual tokens. So you can get exposure to um, meme coins, AI, DeFi, et cetera, et cetera. There it is.
And I think they're still curated, correct?
They are still, I think they are still curated, yeah. But this is, I think, well, it definitely will become fully decentralized
Mm-hmm.
soon. But yeah, and then some these tokens each have their own governance token, which you can invest in. So I'm not heavily, but I have a decent bag of. I think it's the base meme index or DTF. That one,
BTTF.
yeah, that one is governed by the DTF token.
Mm-hmm.
And so the DTF token is technically kind of a meme coin, um, kind of based on this whole concept of ETFs.
Yep.
And so I think that's interesting because meme coins. I mean, they launched this like right at the tail end of the meme cycle, like in late December, January ish, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the timing. I mean, maybe wasn't the best in the short term, but if this concept takes off, right? I mean, my hypothesis is that Reserve is an extremely solid blue chip DeFi project. Um, if RSR takes off and this whole index protocol aspect of it takes off, then I'm my hypothesis is that by proxy, the meme coin DTF, which is also a governance token here for a couple of these indexes, will also take off. And so, yeah, this is an example of one line of thinking for me in terms of a project like this.
No, you're. I'm in complete agreement. Big fan of Reserve. They're actually fairly risk off
Mm-hmm.
as a product, right?
Yeah,
Because
there are tokens as their typical products or their traditional
yep.
products, and they're super over collateralized, like very very safe in terms of downside risk. Uh, Stable coins, um, super secure in that sense. And so this is like a degen proxy bet on Reserve because for me, like I am pretty degen, maybe not as much as you, but still pretty degen, and so I mean, when I look at buying RSR or trying to like earn RSR through different pools, etc. I mean, yeah, I am doing that to an extent, but like seeing this meme token based around this concept, like at $1 million market cap, to me that's like okay, that's like, to me in my mind at least that's like an easy 10, 20x or more, so in the right conditions, not financial
No, I
advice.
agree. I
Yeah.
haven't seen. Yeah, none of this is financial advice, of course. I haven't seen where our tokens are on the main website anymore. But this is in the app. Hmm.
It should be.
This is for yield on DTFs.
That's for
That's
yield on.
interesting. That's interesting. They have them on RSR. Oh, you know what? They
Uh,
have them here. Here's the R tokens
yeah, those are the
specifically.
articles. They usually, but it usually be. Where do you go?
Hmm.
All the pools are here,
Yeah, it's
and
interesting.
yeah, they are. I mean, I guess they are going to build out pools for the indexes themselves.
Yeah,
Um, our token should be there though. I'm not sure they're. I
nice.
haven't seen that a while. But yeah, our tokens are another thing worth mentioning. In terms of earning yield. But I'm really focused on DTF and the whole concept here.
No, I completely agree. I know a lot of people that are fairly based,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually are right now. They're all about 5 and 10 year holds. They're like, oh, I don't care about the market because everything I'm holding is for like 5 to 10 years. And I'm like, well, you got a lot more patience than I do. Not that I don't have 5 to 10 year holds, but yeah, interesting
So
to see
what are they
what
going to do
happens
if
here.
like if there is an altcoin season that does take off sometime in the next year and a half, whenever it is, are they going to hold through that too? I mean,
Yeah, I think so. I
yeah,
mean, obviously they'll make moves based off of it. Oh my gosh, we reclaimed 83.
yeah, I was watching that. So
Uncertainty, guys. This is what uncertainty is going to do.
that's like kind of one of my plays there is I am bought into a few of those indexes just to get
Mm-hmm.
exposure to different sectors. And I'm also betting on this, doing a degen bet on the DTF token itself.
No, I love that idea. I love that idea. I'm going to feature two specific projects. One because we've featured them recently in the last couple of months. Panoptic, available on ETH mainnet as well as on Unichain. Ultimately, a lot of people ask me, we seem to do a lot of long farming. Is there short farming available? The answer is yes, but it depends on what it is. There are some smaller protocols that have short farming, like Alpaca Finance on BNB, Stella on Arbitrum, Extra Finance on Base, Francium on Solana. There's a couple places where you can short farm, but it's limited because it's all based on what assets are being held there in terms of custody, right? Because they're mainly doing leverage farming out of lending AMM. But Panoptic is really pushing the idea of doing using concentrated liquidity in terms of DeFi options. So they have, multiple ways to, create all kinds of strategies like a Jade Lizard or a Strangle or basically a long call. You can also short farm here too. I am working with them to put out a new guide because they're going to be doing some big things soon, and we're going to try and be there at the forefront as they do so. Um, we've been working, with the team at Panoptic since before Panoptic was even a thing back in 2021. So we've watched them grow as they come here to where they are now, and we've watched the product really just run, and really happy and proud of the team. Guillaume Lambert, the founder and CEO of Panoptic, is someone who greatly I think highly of in this space, specifically because we're both educators, but also because he's got a great mind for this stuff. So if you're looking to, uh, if you're an options trader or you appreciate options, you're looking for something that gives you something like that in this space while still farming in DeFi with DeFi assets, consider going to Panoptic on Unichain as well as on ETH mainnet. They are expanding to some other spots soon, I believe. Hopefully, sometime. That smile means I can't say. But Panoptic, really great project. You guys should really check out if you're looking for a great project. The other one I'll talk about today is something that I haven't necessarily talked about previously, and that's going to be Hawkside. This is on Solana, and because I turned off my VPN, it's not going to be as happy. They have this new egg thing, but it's pretty much the jump into the new versions. The previous version just did auto rebalancing and yield optimization for Orca and Radium. Now they do Meteora, Orca, and Radium, and you can earn very good fees and TVL on a wide variety of coins. And it is an auto compounding and auto rebalancing concentrated liquidity. So it's automated liquidity management. So without jumping too deep in the weeds, it's a really good way to play the market because you are actually earning fees off of the trade between two coins. So if you are bullish on specific coins through concentrated liquidity, this is one way that we are continuously grinding out really good yields. Yeah, they've had Meteor for a while, Greg. It's just been on beta, wink, wink. But it's now available. They haven't really marketed it. I guess we should get them on the show because I've been talking to them for a while. But yeah, HawkFi, good spot if you're looking to do yield optimization and have a more hands-off approach. I think that's one thing that you're also talking about, Robert, is having a hands-off approach specifically to getting exposure to assets, right?
Yeah.
Getting into a DTF or an ETF like this, an index, you don't have full exposure to everything. You just have full exposure to the activity between all of them. So that's something that if you don't have a ton of time, really great to get into instead of having to go in and look for specific pools for each one of the assets. You can just play the entire assets
Mm-hmm.
as a DTF. We actually have been approached to do a DTF through here. We just haven't figured out the best way to do it, honestly, I wouldn't even know where to start. But we've been asked to consider doing a beacon DTF with coins that we like. Um, that would be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a cool, a very very cool concept.
Yeah, really. I'm happy they went through with it. Honestly, I know this is something that people talk about all the time. Like, imagine if there was like a meme coin index. Yeah, there's been one for a while.
Mhm.
It's just cool to have these catchy name DTF
Yeah.
to try and get people to yeah they know they get the reference, guys. If you
Oh,
guys are curious,
they definitely
they
get it. Yeah.
very much do.
Yeah. No, like
Marketing's marketing.
yeah, for sure. No, especially like in the current iteration of the crypto cycle where there's like 10x minimum 10x as many tokens as there were last or projects as there were last cycle. Um, it's there's so much dispersion and so much so many different projects to try and track that I think this is especially appealing in this
This
environment.
is really good. This growth index with a lot of
Hmm.
these tokens that are, uh, I mean,
Well,
it's a choice, but 30% Morpho, 17% Fluid, 15%
mhm.
Euler. I mess with that. I would mess with that for sure.
And you
I
can
like
improve
that.
upon it. You can make the beacon one even better.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll just have to figure out how that works. I don't know
Hmm.
if you just put up $100,000 or something like that, or we just make one. Either way, we've been approached by the team to do it. So maybe we will. Maybe we will. So,
Could be cool.
but yeah, we're past time. I just want to say thank you so much to Robert here from Talisman for joining us on a Friday. He's normally with us on Wednesdays on our TVL show. So, anything you want to plug, sir, feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, I just in a formal capacity recently joined the team of Talisman. It's a really cool wallet. Um, Originally based on Polkadot, but now it supports EVM for the past couple of years as well, and going forward. And yeah, really great UI UX. Certainly worth giving a spin. Always adding new features, and yeah, I think I'm going to be presenting this to the community pretty soon too, in some capacity.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
yeah, so give that a look.
Talisman.xyz, as you can see in Robert's lower third. Feel free to give them a check. That's kind of half the reason why him and I are going to be hanging out in Austin in a couple of weeks. If anyone's going to BitTensor Endgame, let me know. That's where we'll be at the end of the month.
Yep, sponsored by Talisman.
Yep, excited to be there. Excited to learn more and come back with information back to the group. BitTensor is a very interesting, very complex ecosystem, and in my opinion, one of the very brightest in the future. Honestly, uh, with what you can do with decentralized finance.
Yeah,
Yeah, it could be
we're gonna come back completely tau pilled, bit
that
pilled.
exactly. We're gonna
Yeah.
be we're gonna get tau tattoos on our forehead or something. I'm not gonna do that. But who knows? Who knows? So
Mike Novogratz style.
that's true. That's true. Well, if that happens, that'll be hilarious. But hopefully, you found great value in this today. Just to kind of recap, if you're joining us late, go back and watch the recording. We talked about mindset today, and kind of regurgitated a lot of what I did in my bull market mindset presentation from ETH Denver last year. Definitely feel free to go back and check it out. It's important to have a good, strong foundation in this space. It's easy to fall prey to FOMO, to FUD, to all these things that are meant to strike a reaction out of you that is uneducated and unprepared. That's what's going to get you. So always stay prepared, always stay educated, and have good, strong operational security, along with a plan and a system to stick within. That's the key, because I can guarantee you the vast majority of people in this space don't have one, and they should, because if they did, probably a lot more money would stay in DeFi than leave, to be quite honest. So, um, but yeah, hopefully you found great value. Please join our free group, school.com/beacon. Join the many people who have joined us there. Absolutely free to join. Learn about decentralized finance. Learn from our team here. Learn from the best in the business. And we'll see you there at school.com/beacon. We'll see you next Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, for another panel for our Total Value Locked group. And yeah, this has been our free weekly training called Beat the Banks. Keep beating those banks. And yeah, now you got the mindset to go along with all the different things we've talked about over the past month to go out and make some gains. Thanks again for Robert for being here. We'll see you next time. 07, Beacons up, banks down. Take care, everybody.